Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown. I'm your host, Matthew Peterson. Today's recap is presented to you by BetQL. Guys, check them out. They give you great bets each and every single week, and they give you a great discount when you use the link at the bottom of your screen, chatsports.com/BroncosQL, with the promo code ChatBroncos. Week 5 recap for the Broncos Steelers. We got a tough one here. A bit of a heartbreaker. I don't even know if you call it a heartbreaker. The score, I don't think, accurately reflects how this game was. It ended up being an 8-point game, but it did not feel like an 8-point game for 3+ quarters. The Broncos' late comeback effort comes up short in the red zone, an interception from Teddy B. But right off the bat, grade the Broncos' performance for me versus the Steelers. Originally, I wasn't even going to include A, and honestly, you probably shouldn't give him an A. You really shouldn't give him an A, but let me know. A, B, C, D, or F. I'm at a C. This is average, okay? Probably even a C-, actually, if you're going to stick to that kind of grading scale. This was not a good game, in my opinion. I don't think the score accurately reflects how the Broncos played. I think it was worse than the score indicates. 27-19, the final. Broncos got some good numbers. They weren't quite garbage numbers, garbage touchdowns or anything like that down the stretch, but this Broncos offense just could not move, all right? It was kind of like your dad on the couch on Sunday, wasn't getting up to go anywhere, and Big Ben and the Steelers offense, which has been really bad so far this season, turned things around, and that always blows. To have another team struggle and let their get-right game be against your club, that blows right there. And the Steelers, they had that. Najee Harris goes over 100 yards on the ground for the first time. But I want to talk about Teddy Bridgewater, all right? Coming off a concussion, don't really know how 100% he was. It was bad for the first half. It really was. I mean, this Broncos team at one point had more points than first downs, okay? It was 3-and-out central, okay? And at a certain point, that responsibility, that fault falls on the quarterback. Bridgewater ended the game. If you just read the box score, you would think, oh, pretty good day at the offense. He did his part, nearly 300 yards, a pair of touchdowns, and an interception. But that was not the case. All right, Bridgewater, this offense was stale. They did nothing for the entire first 3 quarters, honestly, up until the fourth quarter when they really started getting into a bit of a groove. But at that point, it was too late. And they can really thank Courtland Sutton. All right, Courtland Sutton is a major reason. Thank you, Courtland Sutton, for giving this offense any kind of hope. Because you play on the field that you tore your ACL on nearly 12 months ago, back in week 2, and a bit of a emotional game probably to start, but goes off for 7 receptions, 120 yards, and a touchdown. He was not letting the grass fairies and the turf monsters in Heinz Field getting the better of him. So Sutton has a career day, almost 120 yards, like I said, through the air. BetQL is the best way to start making some money. I was looking through their 5-star bets, which they do every single Sunday. Saturday for college football, baseball too, as long as we got that going. And they get you 25% off their service. Basically, do the math here. That's like saving a cup of coffee once a month. And instead of getting, some extra caffeine, you're getting some extra cash in your pocket because they're giving you the best bets each and every single week. Check out all the information in the comments and the description of this video. All you got to know is just go to the link at the bottom of your screen, chatsports.com, Broncos/BroncosQL, with the promo code ChatBroncos for 25% off. All right, time to compare some offenses here because this, to me, was the tail of the tape for this game. Broncos offense versus Steelers offense. The numbers on the Broncos side are a bit ballooned up. It wasn't really garbage yards at the end of the game. They were in it after that big Courtland Sutton touchdown, but the Steelers defense was definitely playing more prevent defense and giving up chunk plays that the Broncos were not getting anything in the beginning of the game. Time of possession, nearly 5-6 more minutes for the Steelers right there. Rushing yards, the Steelers' run game, which has been bad for a while. They broke out against the Broncos' run defense, which has been pretty good through the first 4 games of the season, minus a little bit of a blimp against the Ravens, but that's expected against Lamar Jackson and company. But ultimately, the Steelers' offense just, they found their way. Big Ben didn't look like old Big Ben, but he looked like less old Big Ben, right? Somewhere in that 2016 range, all right? Not quite Super Bowl candidate Big Ben, but overall, this Broncos offense just could not keep up with the Steelers offense, and that ultimately wore them out. So, this Broncos offense was pretty bad last week, right? We're going to leave it right there. 1 touchdown in the entire game. This week, it looked like they weren't going to score a touchdown until the end of the game. Where's your panic level on this Broncos offense? Scale it for me from 1 to 10. I'm struggling to gauge it any lower than a 6. I know it's overreacting a little bit because it's only been 2 games and against 2 good defenses and the Ravens and the Steelers. But regardless, something that was a skeleton in the first couple games of the season and is being exposed now is the Broncos' inability to convert on third downs, which we'll get to later. But it was very prevalent today, and it was a huge reason why this offense, just stalled in the middle of the air like a plane going down and crashing. It was that bad, all right? So let me know what you're at. Love to have a two-way conversation in the comment section. Now, on the ground, Javonte Williams probably had his best game of his career, all right? Melvin Gordon entered the day a little banged up, and it was pretty much Williams from start to finish, all right? 8 carries, 61 yards, had that great breakout 49-yard touchdown run, 49-yard run that did not end in a touchdown. That's what I wanted to say, but got stopped at the 2-yard line. And here's what Williams has done the last couple weeks, all right? Look at his stats through the first 5 games of the season. Get out of the way so you can see all the numbers here. He has slowly progressed in a positive direction. From week 1 to week 5, he is starting to get more carries, all right? And if he's not getting carries, he's getting touches out of the backfield. 8 carries for Williams today. That's a different story if this Broncos team isn't trailing 24-6 in the second half and has to pass it on first, second, and third down, all right? I expect that number to be way up if this team is more competent on offense in the first half and keeps the run game alive in the second half, but broke out for that 49-yard run. Honestly, Williams is the definition of a guy of, if you look at your fantasy score with him or the box score, you got mediocre results. If you watch the games, which I know Broncos fans do, then you are loving this second-round pick, all right? Because he looks like a guy that is just one little piece away from putting it together. And I'm not talking like he needs excuses. I'm talking he is almost there. Loved what I have seen out of Williams. You know what I haven't loved, though? Kyle Fuller, right? Figure it out. All right, I'm going to raise my voice here a little bit because you got the bag this offseason. This was supposed to be one of the best secondaries in the NFL, and it looks like Chase Claypool put you in his own washing machine and spin cycled it for 60 minutes. It was not pretty to start. Fuller hasn't had a good year. I'm calling a spade, all right? Kyle, I'm sorry, but here's my famous line. If you're watching this, stop and go practice because it hasn't worked out so far. I'm curious to see what the Broncos do when Darby returns because that's coming soon. You're keeping Surtain at one corner spot. I doubt you – do you bench Fuller for Darby and see what he could do? I'm not sure. Fuller was a prize free agent, a casualty cap for the Chicago Bears after the cap went south, and I thought the Broncos got a great steal and great value in him, and it has not played out for him so far. He's got the rest of the season to figure it out because this Broncos defense needs Fuller to be the CB1 they paid him to be. And while we're on the subject of breaking it down like it should be, there's no fluff here at the Broncos Breakdown. If that's how you want it, if you're looking for some place to just balloon your heart up and make you feel like you're a Chuck E. Cheese as an adult, this isn't the place, all right? When the wins are wins, we're going to get happy about it. But when the losses are ugly, we're going to actually have a conversation about it. That's what you get here. So subscribe right now to the Broncos Breakdown. That way you get actual Broncos recaps and not fluff pieces across the internet. Fluffy, though, was not Najee Harris. He was the 24th, whatever it was, pick that he lived up to be for the Steelers so far today. Got his first 100-yard game, and this Broncos run defense, that's the bigger story, looked like one of the best in the NFL. Now, Purcell and Harris go down early. They're not out for the game. Don't let that be a cloud in the reasoning here. They come back. But you know what doesn't come back is the rest of the run game here, all right? Look at the numbers here through the first 5 games, all right? It has gotten not worse, but just the last 2 weeks. Granted, you played Lamar and Harris, but also this is the NFL. All right, no fun league, no BS league too. It doesn't matter who you're playing. At some point, the Bucks got to stop here, and you can't just create excuses because of the opponent. All right, this run defense was just gassed. All right, I mean, and completely sliced and diced. It looked like Fruit Ninja in 2010 out there for this Broncos run game. It wasn't good out there, and it is starting to spiral a little bit. All right, once is not a pattern. Twice we're getting close to it. 3 times we have a pattern. All right, let's see what Denver can do next week. But before we get to next week, how about making some money on the Broncos next week? Because they did not cover today, but BetQL gives you a great chance, and they give you these free subscription services. When you go to BetMGM, you put $10 in, you play $10, and boom. Now you've got free BetQL for a year. You've got a great sports book to work with in BetMGM. It's a great 2-for-1 combination. And all you got to do is go to chatsports.com/BroncosMGM, and the promo code ChatBroncos is going to hook you up with all these great stuff. So check them out. Everything you need to know is in the comments and the description of this video. All right, now I want to get your input on something here. What's the Broncos' biggest problem? I'm going to give you mine in a moment. The last 2 weeks, unfortunately, have proved a lot of critics right. That the Broncos are frauds. They played a weak schedule to start the season, and they're going to come down to earth. And sadly, they haven't been wrong. Now, there's still a lot of football to be played. I'm not going to hit the panic button because they lost to a Ravens team at home with a backup quarterback, and then they just played a Steelers team on the road who was 1-3 and needed a win more. And that happens sometimes in the NFL where you play the wrong team at the wrong time. Doesn't matter what you're bringing into the game, they want it more. But for me, it starts on third down. This has been an issue all season long, and the numbers show it, all right? We talked about it earlier when we showed you this 2 offenses together, and look at them right now. Look at third down for Denver. 2 for 12. It's pathetic. All right, Steelers 7 for 12. This was the story to start the game. Was the Broncos were just a 3-play trick. That's all they were. Go out there for 3 plays and come off the field. That were their first couple drives. This third down on the offense needs to get better for this Broncos team to start getting back into the win column. But maybe some other changes need to be made. Let me know what you're thinking. What's the biggest change the Broncos need to make going into Week 6? Sound off in the comments. Hop in each other's comments, replies. Whatever you got to do, let's get the best fan base in the NFL talking. Because this Broncos team is hopefully 4-2 this time next week.